So the goal of my book is basically to trace the history of institutional psychotherapy from its inception at Saint-Alban to its various incarnations in the post-war years, so basically from 1945 to 1975. The book begins with an analysis of Saint-Alban during the war, focusing on one of the most important theorizers and practitioners of institutional psychotherapy, François Tosquelles, who I will tell you about in a moment. The other chapters are organized around individual case studies of doctors, intellectuals, and artists who were either physically present at Saint-Alban or for whom the Saint-Alban experiment was important. These include Frantz Fanon, who was a medical resident at Saint-Alban in 1952-1953, and who relied on many of the principles and techniques of institutional psychotherapy in his psychiatric work in North Africa. So this is a picture of the hospital at Blida where Fanon was a doctor for a couple of years during the war, while he was involved with the FLN. This is his writings that just come out in English last week, I think, but they've come out in French, his medical and psychiatric writings. It also included Georges Canguilhem, the historian of science, who hid at Saint-Alban in 1944 while he was in the resistance, and who turned to psychiatry to rethink the notions of the normal and the pathological. Michel Foucault, who was Canguilhem's student and who mentioned Saint-Alban in his course on psychiatry at the Collège de France, and whose early work also focused on the psychiatric as a lens to rethink power and knowledge. It also included Jean Oury, the psychiatrist who in 1951 founded the clinic of Laborde, where Felix Guattari, who worked for many years. So this is Oury, the Laborde, and which in many ways inspired the work that Guattari co-wrote with Gilles Deleuze in 1972, Anti-Oedipus. So this is some of Guattari's more psychiatric writings. If you're interested, and you'll see that the first book has the picture of Laborde in it, and that's when he basically tries to apply psychiatry to politics. And this one about reflecting on his psychiatric work at Laborde. During the war, Saint-Alban also welcomed surrealist artists who were fleeing fascism and who had been fascinated by madness long before, such as Paula Lee Roth, the surrealist poet, as well as visual artists associated with the movement of art brut. So this is Éluard's poem at the Saint-Alban cemetery. And these are two examples of the people, the artists, visual artists who were at Saint-Alban, Auguste Forestier, and perhaps more famously, Jean Dubuffet. And you can understand why madness would be appealing for these artists, right, who were trying to go beyond the conventional dictates of the artistic world. So when I discovered all these connections, I thought it would be interesting to write this story and to try to understand why all these thinkers who were somehow associated with this one hospital at Saint-Alban, despite their various backgrounds, tried to bring together neurology, psychology, psychoanalysis, phenomenology, aesthetics, social and political theory in this particular context after World War II.